Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Peter Barber, professional singer and music producer, and I just did a full first-time reaction and full vocal and musical analysis of Mortius's new EP, Rediscovery. Really enjoyed it. I mean, the songwriting is really solid. Mortius's vocals sound really solid. JP's production is like out of this world good. So many wonderful things to say, and I will say them all over the course of the next hour. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this deep dive into Mortius's new EP. I'll see you after.
I thought that getting better meant that I could get some sleep. I thought that feeling stronger would mean never feeling weak. I thought that 8 years later I'd be done with therapy. And I thought that with this album done I'd finally feel at ease. Cause every happy song...
Yep, AJR. 100%. I think that's what Mortius told me. I think that's what other people told me who'd listened to it. Said definitely like AJR vibes, which I feel 100%, and it's a great vibe to have. Let's see where we're starting here. Deep. All right, so A minor, perhaps.
I thought that getting better meant that I could get some sleep. I thought that feeling stronger would mean never feeling weak. I thought that 8 years later I'd be done with therapy. And I thought that with this album done I'd finally feel at ease. Cause
it's actually interesting. We don't really have a clear chord progression. We only have the bass line starting out here. We just have do 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 do, just those three bass notes, which, depending on how the chords are inverted or the kind of sequence you're doing, doesn't necessarily mean that's the root of the chord. So we'll be interested to see when the instruments kind of fill out what the chord progression actually is. So Mortius is the songwriter here, co-written, I believe, with at least Tegan, this EP, and JP perhaps as well. JP Warner produced it. Phenomenal producer, and he has a huge background in really advanced production, like heavy electronic production and stuff like that. He's actually coming on the podcast very soon, so we're going to get into the weeds about all that. But big shout out to Mortius for taking the leap there and hiring JP as a producer, because it elevates the sound and the quality of the product to a level that's just unachievable unless you have a really good producer. Doesn't matter if you're a great singer, songwriter, the end product might sound like ass if you don't have a good producer, and that makes a huge difference. So big shout out for taking the plunge there and committing to that. And that is why we get such a professional sound. I mean, you can tell immediately with production value. So you can tell from even just the piano, just how it sounds, how it rings, how it fills out the space. You can tell there's a good producer behind it. And as more elements come in, that's when, of course, the mixing and everything gets a lot more complicated. And I'm sure JP has done a phenomenal job. So Mortius, the brains behind the majority of the songwriting, I presume, with some assistance from Tegan and JP, and then JP, the producer, giving us this final product.
I thought that getting better meant that I could get some sleep. I thought that feeling stronger would mean never feeling weak. I thought that 8 years later I'd be done with therapy. And I thought that with this album done I'd finally feel at ease.
Yeah, all that very like lyrically relatable, I think, to especially this last one for me. And I think anyone that creates content is like, I thought that when you finish this big project, you'll finally feel like, oh, I'm done. But it's never the case. The goalpost is always shifting, and you kind of have to adjust for that. I will be talking more about the music going through this EP, by the way, guys. I'm sure there are a lot of other reactors that are going to talk more about the lyrics, which I know are really potent and powerful and triggering in some ways, depending on someone's experience. I've always been someone that focuses more on the music, so you can expect that from me. Just a warning, depending on what you want to get out of these analysis videos. Mortius starting nice and low in his range. So Mortius is very much a natural tenor voice. Where does he end up there on the bottom? Lower in his range, not really low.
I thought that getting better meant that I could get some sleep.
Is it C sharp?
I thought the feeling stronger would be never feeling weak.
Yeah, so down to C#3, and believe it or not, this is already getting towards the bottom of what Mortius's like wheelhouse would be. Getting too far below that C below middle C is when he's going to start to get more breathy and have to start to like push, unless he has, you know, an especially low day, but very much a high sitting tenor naturally for Mortius. So it's a great place to start the song because it's going to give his voice a long place to bloom going forward.
I thought that 8 years later I'd be done with therapy, and I thought that with this album done I'd finally feel at ease, cause every happy song gives a reason to be so. But sometimes when you ask the sky for sunshine, she says no. You wake up and the world is just as gray as yesterday. But if we turn that window to a mirror, we can say, gee, I'm feeling...
Cool chord progression as well, and some really cool production things happening on JP's side, where we're getting a lot of contrast section to section. So, you know, first section is basically just piano, and then the next section we're getting a lot of claps and more percussive elements, and that builds, and then a lot of it strips away. We get a couple cool jazzy chords in there, and then of course, then it builds back up to this first chorus, I assume, where everything kind of comes together. I'm gonna walk back through that again.
But sometimes when you ask...
Sometimes... Yeah, it's down that C sharp. You can tell even, and Mortius's voice actually sounds meatier and richer down there here than what I've heard previously from him. I was with him in Chicago the weekend he recorded this, and we had a couple nights out, and his voice was like pretty ragged the day before he was going in to record in the studio. We're like, dude, like, do you need to postpone your recording session? He's like, nah, I'll be fine. And he told me afterwards that it did turn out for when he needed it, like a little bit beefier and bassier in the lower parts. Maybe this is the song he was talking about. I can't remember. But this is sounding more like baritone Mortius than tenor Mortius. It's great. I love it. I love the meat and the sound.
For sunshine, she says no. You wake up and the world is just as gray.
So drums are gone.
But if we turn,
what's that?
It's just as gray as yesterday.
It's a flat 7 in this A. Well, for A minor, the G.
Up and the world is just as gray as yesterday.
And it's hard. The bass is so low, it's hard to tell what pitch that is. It's a little crunchy. It's nice though.
But if we turn that window to a mirror, we can say, gee, I'm feeling happy as I can, and oh my Lord, I'm smiling again. The only thing could stop me is myself. I deserve feeling like I'm on the top shelf.
Nice. Okay, that's cool. That's how we get the title. Okay, good. Gee, I'm feeling happy as I can, and oh my Lord, I'm smiling again. And the only thing could stop me is myself, and I deserve feeling like I'm on the top shelf. Very cool. Yeah, we get some nice, like we get a nice brass section in the background. We get some trumpets. Again, very AJR vibe. We get the kind of rhythms and whole vibe of the song, the way the drums are interacting, the way the instrumental sections are coming in and out, and the rhythms they're using. For sure. I'm really enjoying it. Really solid.
Gee, I'm feeling happy as I can, and oh my Lord, I'm smiling again. The only thing could stop me is myself. I deserve feeling like I'm on the top shelf.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. G.O.O.D. Yeah, despite the...
So up to high tenor, high A flat, and this is very comfy for Mortius as a high tenor, belting up to that high A flat, no problem. Sounds really solid in his voice. And Mortius's voice naturally has a little bit of that breathiness in it, a little bit of the grit. It's not like pure tone. It's a lot like, it's similar in that way to Jay's voice, Jorge's voice, who wrote Epic, and that when he pulls up into that belt range, despite being a high tenor, despite the comfort up in that range, there's a breathiness and an airiness. So the vocal folds are never coming fully together for like a really pure tone. And And there's pros and cons to that, and it's especially good if you can turn that on and off a little bit. But I think for this vibe, I think it's really, really nice, really fitting.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. G.O.O.D. Yeah, despite the descent and the world's best attempts time. G.O.O.D.
That's up to the A flat again. So I guess maybe we started, maybe the whole time probably it's been an E major. So we had A major, then what did it go to? Then E, then the 1, and then minor 6, and then back to E. Possibly. That's what it's feeling like now. So and again, the song started with just the bass line, so we couldn't say for sure, but that's probably likely.
God gives his toughest battles to the strongest soldier. If a war awaits, I'd like to dodge the draft, you know. They say that there's a reason all the bad things happen for, but I'm sick of these excuses, I can't take it anymore. They say
I like the multi-tracking on the vocal there. So it just double tracked. It was single tracked for the start of the second verse. Then it went to a double track for like a line. And then there was like a chaotic, like heavily multi-tracked when some of the Mortiuses in there went into more like speech, more like voice acting to just kind of convey the intensity of that line.
And all the bad things happen for, but I'm sick of these excuses,
I'm sick of the excuses. So we get a low or a high harmony there. From his lead. Keep forgetting how low his lead is in his voice. Normally, the harmony he's singing would probably be a low harmony for Mortius, but in this one, it's a high harmony. And then can't take it anymore. He goes into the voice acting style.
They say that there's a reason all the bad things happen for, but I'm sick of these excuses, I can't take it anymore. They say the grass is greener if you reach the other side. But why hop fences when we could just water what's inside? The grass is greener if you reach.
Doesn't sound like a B minor chord. It's a. Could be a. No, it couldn't be that either. Interesting.
The other side. But why hop fences when we could just water what's inside? Gee, I'm feeling we could just water what's inside. Gee, I'm feeling happy as I can, and oh my Lord, I'm smiling again. The only thing could stop me is
Ba-da-da-da. So there's like really nice in that brass section. I love it. And I love that it like bounces off the downbeat. So it's like instead of coming right on the downbeat. There's that little delay, which is nice and allows the beat to land and be cleared before that brass rebound happens. Really, really nice. Really nice.
inside. Gee, I'm feeling happy as I can.
Actually, that one might land on the 1, but then I think later
What's inside? Gee,
that one's on it.
happy as I can, and oh my Lord, I'm smiling again. The only thing could.
You know what? It does. It actually, they both land on the 1, but it's in a way where it doesn't become the forefront, probably because so many things are landing right on that 1, where you don't really notice that brass until. But it actually does land on the 1 there. It's just in a mix of a lot of other things. Then by beat 2, everything more things have cleared, and so that brass then becomes very, very crystal.
What's inside? Gee, I'm feeling happy as I can, and oh my Lord, I'm smiling again. The only thing could stop me is myself. I deserve feeling like I'm on the top shelf.
I just realized he's saying G.O.O.D. in like a chorus, a gang vocals in the background. Hell yeah.
What's inside? Gee, I'm feeling happy as I can, and oh my Lord, I'm smiling again. The only thing could stop me is myself. I deserve feeling like I'm on the top shelf. Yeah, I'm feeling good. G.O.O.D. Yeah, despite the descent.
Well, that little like cut reverse, little edit there.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. G.O.O.D. Yeah, despite
Nice.
the descent and the world's best attempt sound. G.O.O.D. The darkest.
Ah! You can literally hear his mouth stretching open now. Let's see, is it am?
World's best attempt sound.
I'm. That's a perfect word to be singing on a high belt because your mouth's already in that position. Ah! So you really don't have to do much. Just kind of follow where the resonance wants to go. But you can feel him stretching it a little bit as he gets even towards the top of that slide. It's like, ah, ah. There's like a little bit of mouth stretch to get up to that high A flat.
G.O.O.D. Yeah, despite the descent and the world's best attempt sound. G.O.O.D. The darkest days don't always have a bright side. Stormy clouds aren't always silver lined, and all these cliches only serve to hide the fact.
I think those low harmonies are just getting down to E3.
Aren't always silver lined, and
Maybe lower.
days don't
It's hard to tell in his voice.
The darkest days don't always have a bright side.
I don't think he's getting down to E2. Maybe the harmony changes. It's kind of the volume of it kind of falls off at the bottom there.
G.O.O.D. The darkest days don't always have a bright side. Stormy.
Don't have a bright side. I think he gets down to A flat 2. I was like, Mortius does not have an E2 anywhere in his voice, I don't think. So I don't think he's taking that harmony down to where the high one goes. Yeah, A2 to A flat 2, I think is what's happening.
G.O.O.D. The darkest days don't always have a bright side. Stormy clouds aren't always silver lined, and all these cliches only serve to hide the fact that life can really be a bitch sometimes. Sometimes. Gee, I'm feeling.
Yeah, dude. So AJR. I like the extra eyes in the lyric video too. And then it looks like we're about to go into a full-on, bridge down section where it's very stripped down, and then we'll probably come back for the biggest chorus. Textbook. Love, love, love.
Sometimes. Gee, I'm feeling happy as I can. Oh my Lord, I'm smiling again.
Hold up.
Hey, I'm feeling happy as I can. Oh my
Back to E.
Lord, I'm smiling again.
What was the second chord?
Sometimes. Gee, I'm feeling happy as I can.
Oh, I think it's just 1515, but with inversions. I think just various inversions going down. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. First listen.
Gee, I'm feeling happy as I can. Oh my Lord, I'm smiling again. Geez, these things don't always go to plan. Oh, I'm trying to do the best I can.
That's different there. So I've got this piano set up here, and it feels so foreign, so different from my normal setup, and like all my calibration feels very off right now. I'm used to I put myself in this cage, but I'm used to just operating on my little iPad while I'll just like pick out a note. And here I'm like kind of sideways at the piano, and it's like down below my microphone, so my vision's a little impeded. It's a very awkward setup, but I wanted to try it out today. And so it's uncalibrating my musical brain a little bit for chords and such. Anyway, lovely down section. Pretty much everything stripped down. I think the chord progression, whatever it is different from the choruses, but we have the same lyrics going on here. until G's.
Things don't always go to plan. Oh, I'm trying to do the best I can. Gee, I'm feeling happy when I can. Oh, I might just need a helping hand. Go, go, go. Gee, I'm feeling happy as...
Very interesting. Cool. Very cool bridge section. I like how we got... Let me see this.
Gee, I'm feeling happy as I can.
No, this is different, actually. Different lyrics from the chorus. I thought it might have been repeated, but with a different like background musical structure. We have a different, well, I think different new lyrics here.
Oh, my Lord, I'm smiling again. Geez, these things don't always go to plan. Oh, I'm trying to do the best I can. Gee, I'm feeling happy when I can. Oh, I might just need a helping hand. Go, go, go. Gee, I'm feeling...
So that's cool because it could have just gone back into... No, those are the... Mostly this... See, this is why paying attention most of the music, I'm like, have we seen these lyrics? So we have seen definitely some of those lyrics before. And then the final chorus, I assume, is the same lyrics as the first two choruses. What I was going to say is this go, go, go part, it could have just gone back into the final section, would have been fine. But this little go, go, go section just adds a little something new to kind of break up the rhythm, a little bit of a pattern break, because we're expecting that final chorus, right? And then we get the go, go, go. So it's a nice little addition. Keep things interesting.
Go, go, go. Gee, I'm feeling happy as I can. And oh my Lord, I'm smiling again. The only thing could stop me is myself. I deserve feeling like I'm on the top shelf. Yeah, I'm feeling good. G.O.O.D. Yeah, despite the descent and the world's best attempts, I'm G.O.O.D. good.
This has been kind of a tough week for me, and being able to just like sit down and record something like this, even on the days where recording might not be the easiest, I appreciate every one of you who allows for this to be my reality and for me to make the best art that I know how to make. So, thank you.
Yeah. So this might have been the day, one of the recording days, where his voice was pretty ragged from the nights before, but came out sounding really great. I mean, the voice it just sounds full. It just sounds full. And you know, part of this is JP being a great producer. Obviously, you can help vocals fill out some, but timbrally, I mean, there are some things you really can't, like, people think like, oh, you can sing anything and they can just fix it in post. Like, no, the good pop singers, the famous pop singers are all really good singers. So you can fix tuning, right? You can sing out of tune pretty badly in a recording session. You can fix that. But a lot of what makes the voice special is its kind of natural qualities. I think that's what we like about Mortius's voice, is it has its own natural timbre. It has that kind of breathiness and grittiness to it, and it's this high tenor voice, but yet we still get some nice warmth in the lows on this song, at least, whatever condition his voice was in that day. What we tend to like about the people we hear on the radio is, it's not even necessarily that they're exceptional singers. Sometimes it's literally the quality of voice. You think about a singer like Lorde. I absolutely love Lorde. I mean, she's one of my favorite singer artists, but she's not like a powerhouse, super technical singer. Like, part of what makes her so great is the uniqueness of her voice, and of course her songwriting is the most important thing. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this first look, and I appreciate you being with me while I struggle through this setup that I may or may not try to get used to or keep. But I'll see you in the next one, which I believe is called Turning Point. So I'll see you in a second. Bye. Hey everyone, welcome back. You probably just watched my analysis of G.O.O.D, G.O.O.D, Good by Mortius, and we're about to get into Turning Point, the second song on this EP, written and co-written by he and Tegan, and produced by J.P. Warner, who's incredible, has given such an amazing professional sound to these recordings, as you would expect from the great JP. All right, Turning Point. I hear this one's pretty heavy. Again, I am going to focus more on the music because that's what I do. There are plenty of other reactors to really dig into the text. So this will be more music driven as always on my channel, and it's become a meme, and I love that, and I'm fine with it. Let's go.
What can I make from the bricks that remain in the rubble you left in my chest? Did you take foundation or just decoration? How much of me really is left? Out of blueprint, together we drew it, but how can I build when I don't know where you hit? The cracks are increasing, who knows how much more I can take? How much more? And no.
Yeah, dude. Yes. Really, really like this. And I think it's a nice evolution from musically what we just heard in the first song. This one kind of comes out of the gate stronger, right? The first song literally started with just, or whatever, it was just a bass line. It was like low A, bum, 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 and then just a piano. This one really comes out stronger, and we get a really fleshed out kind of wall of sound to start the piece. Also, exceptional lyric videos. Really, really exceptional. I'm sure Mortius commissioned these. So whoever made them, you're wonderful. These are excellent. They're really, really captivating and engaging, which is important in a lyric video. Not a visualizer, lyric video, right? Different. Got to keep people watching. Sounds great. Mortius, really awesome. So this one does start out with piano and snaps only, and the first one started out with just piano in the bass register, but there's motion. Bop, 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 bop. Instead of the first one was like bump, 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 or whatever. Something much slower. So we already have this kind of driving force coming out of the gate.
What can I make from the bricks that remain in the rubble you left in my chest? Did you take foundation or just decoration? How much of me really is left?
So he's up to, yeah, it's up to E4 there. So not high for Mortius yet, but it's in a really nice spot in his voice where he's not stretching his voice so much where the text is hard to get out, because this is a very texty song, very text driven, right? The melody, this is not a crazy melody, so it's really going to be a text driven song, which is definitely the vibe I'm getting. And even from how the lyric video is being organized, it's like text, text, text. So I'll pay a little more attention to the text on this one. But yeah, really, really, really nice. I don't remember where I was going with that, but I'll just rewind it.
That remain in the rubble you left in my chest. Did you take foundation or just decoration? How much of me really is left?
That's up to a G, already still easy in Mortius's voice. And yeah, I mean, the production value is insane. JP's so good. I mean, this is like just really high quality drum, just really high quality drums, and a really nice balance and spread of all the instrumentation. You guys know I produce a lot of music. I often do my own mixing, mastering, everything, writing, composing. So really, really appreciate when something's just like, mixing is the most underappreciated and hardest thing in the music industry. No question. People who know mixing and know kind of how to mix get it and understand it. Not everyone's great at it, but like you understand, you appreciate it so much. But if you say, "Oh yeah, it has a really good mix," to someone outside of the industry, it's like no one has any idea the skill involved, the ear training, the knowledge of plugins and audio engineering, and how all the sounds fit together. And it can be really, really complicated depending on the genre you're doing. Mix engineering is crazy. It's like witchcraft. And this is mixed very well.
From the bricks that remain in the rubble you left in my chest. Did you take foundation or just decoration? How much of me really is left?
So just a quick thing for you guys listening, if you have nice headphones, you'll be able to hear a little bit of this. There's something called side chaining, and side chaining is a mechanism in audio engineering where when one sound triggers, it ducks other sounds in the mix, depending on what you want to duck. So something that's really common is if you have a subwoofer going or a bass guitar going and a kick drum happening, you will usually side chain the kick drum on the bass guitar, so that when the kick drum hits, the bass guitar dips a little bit, because you don't want all that bass frequency happening at the same time. bass takes up a ton of space in the mix. You have to be really careful about how you mix your bass. And so what this does is you might have a consistent bass line going, kick comes in, bass dips, but because there's bass in the kick drum, and then if depending on the release time you set on the compression, the sidechain compression, right when that kick starts to dip away again, the bass is already back, so you don't even notice the bass went away. Unless you're paying really, really close attention. And even then, sometimes you can't even tell, depending on the, kind of what the kick actually, I'm not going to get into it. So listen here to how clear these kicks are. And so what JP is doing is he has some kind of side chain ducking certain, at least parts of the bass frequency spectrum when the kicks hit. So they're so punchy and crystal clear, and they come right through the mix. And for songs like this, especially JP's done a ton of work in EDM, you want heavy hitting kicks and snares that are like right at the front. You want the kicks and snares being as loud as any other part of the mix, which is not the case for all music, but it takes a lot of skill to get the drums forward and present and punchy without being overbearing. You don't want them distracting from Mortius's vocals, for instance, because in pop music, pop rock, alternative pop, whatever genre this is, you still want the vocals to be the most attention-grabbing thing. So that's just one little audio engineering tool you have to think about. It's something called sidechain compression, and there are a million ways to apply it. That is how it's being applied at the moment.
What can I make from the bricks that remain in the rubble you left in my chest? Did you take foundation?
So if you're paying really close attention, you can hear that bass guitar going instead of it goes because right at the start, the kick hits, it ducks that bass, and before you even notice, the bass is back to its full strength. Pretty sweet.
In the rubble you left in my chest. Did you take foundation or just decoration? How much of me really is left? Out of blueprint together we drew it, but how can I build when I don't know where you hit? The cracks are increasing, who knows how much more I can take? How much more? And no, the Roman story tells the same old tale. A woman turned monstrous for the mistakes of a male.
That's up to a nice high gritty A up for Mortius. That's getting towards the top for sure. I think it's similar to Jay's range, where the A flat is like cake, and then the A starts to stretch it a little bit. And this is very common. It's not like, oh, why can't they just sing a half step higher? It's very common for you to feel pretty darn, especially, and this even happens as you get really, really skilled opera singers. I know do the most technical training of any genre, no question, having sung in most of them at this point. It's not even close. You get up to a point where you feel like, I know plenty of operatic tenors that are like, oh, high A, high B flat, nothing. High B, ooh, high B starts to get a little risky. And it is a half step can make a huge, huge difference in a singer's voice, no matter the skill.
Story tells the same old tale. A woman turned monstrous for the mistakes of a male. But the way that people see her is only half a story. I'd have taken the Gorgon's curse over how you made me feel.
Cool that now I don't know. I know Mortius at least had started writing these songs years ago, years and years, and this is like him completing a circle on these projects. It'd be cool. So I'm sure he'll respond to me when I send him to this. But if the Gorgon and the mythology thing was already in the songwriting before he's become a big influencer in the the musical community, and has multiple people from that community working on this project with him. So I wonder if that's a new thing that serves his song. He wouldn't do it if it didn't serve the song, but if it serves the song better and includes this new audience in a way that maybe the old lyrics wouldn't have as much. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. Either way, it's cool, right? So that's that. Also, cool multi-tracking happening in the vocal going into this second section of the verse where we get his voice right in the middle for a while, and then it really splits, and we get his voice in both ears. It's already happening. So right in the middle. Nope. This is... I went back too far. So it's single voice, and then we get harmonies, and then the voice is split. And okay, cool. Harmonies. There we go.
Who knows how much more I can take? And no, the Roman story tells the same old tale. A woman turned monstrous for the mistakes of a man. But the way that people see her is only half a story. I'd have taken the Gorgon's curse over how you made me feel.
Excellent use of silence in the arrangement, and also Mortius' favorite thing in music is when everything cuts out for a second, and I think it's when everything cuts out and it's just voices for a second, then everything comes back in. That's like Mortius' thing. So I'm sure he had some input into this, how this happened here. But really good use of silence going into this next section. So we get like a moment kind of silence, and then a longer moment of silence shortly after that.
Takes of a male, but the way that people see her is only half a story. I'd have taken the Gorgon's curse over how you made me feel. I turned around and it all was changed. My life will never be the same with my pieces rearranged. This was my turning point where you turned on me, where the future was set in stone, and I feel like what was being built can't be the same. I turned you.
Really, really nice. And yeah, the vocal line really nicely following the parts of the chord they're going to really hit, and giving Mortius a chance to flex that upper range, stay in that belt range. This is obviously a very emotionally charged song. With songs like that, depends on the emotion, right? This emotion feels very intense. It feels like a very intense emotion. For that, you want to be up in that high chest, high belty range, putting some grit in the sound. You know, if it were like a more like defeated side of this emotion, you'd probably want to be lower in your range and breathy and like more hopeless and despondent. But this is like the fired up side of this emotion, and it's really well captured, from the singing to the instrumentation, the production, all of it working together very nicely.
This was my turning point where you turned on me, where the future was set in stone, and I feel like what was being built can't be the same. I turned you on, so you turned on me. I thought that we'd be fine till you took that from me in my own bed, where you left me trying to process what you've done. I may have turned you on, but you have turned off the future. I turned around and
yeah, big heavy lyrics for sure. I don't need to get into all that, but really powerful stuff. Really awesome in a lyrical writing kind of way, obviously.
I may have turned you on, but you have turned off the future.
And again, a lot of the background part has pulled back, so it's like we're really, especially with the lyric video, like instrumentation and arrangement dialed back, lyrics just right there. Like this message needs to get across, and we are getting it for sure.
I turned around and it all was changed. My life will never be the same with my pieces rearranged. This was my turning point where you turned on me, where the future was set in stone, and I feel like what was being built can't be the same.
Yeah. So you really can feel Mortius stretching. What was being the same? All the way up to that high A. You're really stretching the voice out. Something I also love about this is, like, despite the vibes being different between the songs, they are similar, and they have a very similar instrumental makeup. Like we get all the brass here. A lot of it just, it feels very much like it's from the same universe, which, especially if you're doing like a 3-song EP, you definitely want it to feel like it's the same universe. If you have a whole album, I would say you have more freedom to kind of bounce around as long as the journey is intentional, right? But a 3-song EP, and I think he released it as a single because you can do that for, I think 3 songs or less can be considered a release as a single. You definitely want them to be in the same universe, or it's like if you have 3 songs that sound completely different, it's like, well, what is this artist after, right? What's their deal? I have no idea after listening to the songs, you might like them, but you're like, I don't know what their deal is. So I really like how the first 2 songs are working together in a soundscape sort of way. And lyrically, of course, I mean, that's what this is driven by, Mortius's experiences lyrically.
So I'm turning it to stone. The center of my garden is where you'll be thrown. No giants to stand on, but you see what I can grow.
Hey, high falsetto. So tenor, high C, up in the falsetto, and then some harmonies as well above that. So the harmonies are also on that high C. At least one of them.
Where you'll be thrown. No giants to stand on, but you see what I... No giants to stand on, but you see what...
What is it? I think it goes like that. G and C, A flat B, A. So they start apart and meet in the middle as this leading line is coming down from that high C as well.
No giants to stand on, but you see
also, that nice flip. Giants to stand on. Again, back to that A, brings that chest voice back.
No giants to stand on, but you see what I can grow on the shoulders of a tiny man who thought that I had something he was owed. My friends call you a bitch.
Yeah. Nice. Yep. Feeling like you owe. Feeling like people owe you. Saying you owe. Ugh. Ugh.
Something he was owed. My friends call you a bitch, but that's not fair. 'Cause even my dog knows what no means.
Oh, roasted. Absolutely roasted. That's, yeah. Good line. Very good line.
But that's not fair. 'Cause even my dog knows what no means.
No means. Now we're down to low B. And you can tell this is getting right at the bottom of Mortius's range. And this is presenting I don't know where it's about to go. We got 30 seconds. Getting all the way down to the bottom of his range would present, if he went back into Beltland, a really huge contrast. Everything's pulling back now. Even a dog knows what no means. Ah! And then could go back into the belt range. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he's going to do that.
'Cause even my dog knows what no means. I turned around and it all has changed. My life.
Dun, 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 dun. We get some high like staccato strings, real high violins here, which I believe is new in this chorus and adds a sort of jagged feeling to it.
Knows what no means. I turned around and it all has changed. My life will never be the same with my pieces rearranged. This is my turning point, 'cause you turned.
Some nice harmonies, also repeating some text in a nice way that I don't think we've heard before.
My pieces rearranged. This is my turning point, 'cause you turned on me. Now my future is set in stone and I feel like what was being built can't be the same. It'll turn out okay.
Okay. All right. Song number 2, Mortius. Really excellent, man. Top to bottom. Really, really enjoying it. Very proud of you. All right. See you guys in a second. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the third song of Mortius's EP, Rediscovery. This is Dreamscape. All right. Let's get into it.
In a small town growing up, always thought I knew what I would do when I was on my own. Dreams big, worry small, thinking I could have it all. Don't worry, Mom, I'll still pick up the phone. Got a passion.
I love the start of the song. I love we start with just acoustic guitar. It's much more intimate, soundscape wise than the first two, which were bigger productions. Now this one probably will get there, but starting it in a really intimate place, just acoustic guitar, and of course there's some really cool atmosphere as well. Again, those are things that JP would have added to fill out the space, while acoustic guitar totally alone with voice is fantastic. It's one of my favorite combinations in the world, just those two things. Generally, you'll hear that more in a folk setting or a country setting, perhaps. In this alternative pop rock kind of AJR thing that this EP is going for, you're likely, even amidst the acoustic guitar and voice, you're going to want to have some kind of synthesized things happening just to create atmosphere. And we do get that if you pay close attention to the background. So it's not just acoustic guitar and voice. We do get some atmosphere around as well.
In a small town growing up, always thought I knew what I would do when I was on my own.
I like that kind of lyric writing where one line, so the rhyme scheme's there, but the end of the line is really the start, or it gets continued on the next line. I always thought I knew what I always thought I knew what I would do, but the end of that line is I always thought I knew what. And then the next couplet is I would do when. I think that's a really cool rhyme scheme to utilize, and especially to shake things up a little bit.
In a small town growing up, always thought I knew what I would do when I was on my own.
F sharp minor.
Dreams big, worry small, thinking I could have it all. Don't worry, Mom, I'll still pick up the phone. Got a passion, got a fire, gonna do what I can do. I'm gonna rattle the stars and the world will know me too.
See, we still get the brass. So again, the instrumentation continuing from previous, where we're hearing brass in a different way, but we're getting brass here. I also like this, what I'm assuming is the pre-chorus section. It's pretty stripped down. This is very atmospheric, which makes all the sense in the world, given that the song is called Dreamscape. We're going to be going for a more kind of ethereal, whimsical, dream-like quality to the sound. And how you get that often is you put a lot of reverb and delay on instruments, and you just kind of have this swimmy sound going on in the background to create this dream-like atmosphere where nothing's quite solid and crystal clear. Still a ton of mix engineering involved, ton of complicated mix engineering to make that work in the right way and not just be muddy and soupy for the sake of itself, but capturing a certain essence.
I'm gonna rattle the stars and the world will know me.
So it's a pretty big brass riff in the middle of this dream pre-chorus, but it's still got a lot of reverb and delay on it, so it sounds like it's a long way away. Whatever the riff is.
Fire gonna do what I can do.
Nope, not yet. Just kidding.
I'm gonna rattle the stars and the world will
There it is.
know me too. With all my dreams, I got something to believe in. I'm looking past all the possible mistakes. I'm just a kid, but I'm brighter than I seem. And now I'm looking to the future, and the world feels like a dreamscape. A little
That's really cool. So we're in F sharp minor. So normally we would have normally the 7 chord would be an E major chord. So we wouldn't normally get that leading tone, especially not in the melody. You might. Something I love doing is in an F sharp minor chord, you throw in a C sharp major chord, which would normally be C minor. I just don't like the 5 minor chord at all. I'm writing a ton of original music right now, and whenever I'm in minor and I go to the 5 minor, I'm like, ugh. But if I go 5 1 minor F sharp minor to 5 major, then it leads back nicely to the F sharp minor. So we get that F natural from Mortius's leading vocal here, which is why it sounds like, oh, what's happening there? And it's probably, well, let's see what's happening on the chord underneath. That might explain the crunchiness. Yeah, so we get, I think we get the C sharp minor, but he sings that F natural on top of it, so we get a major crunch.
Look into the future and the world feels like a dreamscape. A little
It is major underneath.
dreamscape.
Actually, I think what's happening is they are doing the 5 major, but he's starting on what will be the minor, so we get Dreamscape. That's cool. I love the crunch. Big fan of the crunch.
Look into the future and the world feels like a dreamscape. A little older day by day.
Yes.
Devil's on
Yes, bring in the kick on verse 2. Absolutely. Let's drive it.
the world feels like a dreamscape. A little older.
2 elements that lead into it. We get that shh, we get that rattle, and we get a little on the guitar, like a little muted slide. And this leads us in to the second verse, almost like an uplifter downlifter combo, like shh. Instead, we get shh, we get a shaker and a kind of empty note on the guitar.
Dreamscape. A little
Bang.
older day by day. The devil's on my shoulders, say maybe I can't make it on my own.
So we get some nice riffing on acoustic guitar. We get some nice low kind of hard rock rhythm guitar, which I love in a low octave. That kind of vibe. Really, really nice. But we get a cool like solo kind of happening in the leading acoustic guitar over top of those heavier rhythm, more rock guitars.
Devil's on my shoulders, say maybe I can't make it.
Some strings, some nice violin, I believe, maybe viola happening about 30, 40 degrees left, or 30, 40, what do you actually call it? And then you pan things left and right in what's called the stereoscopic image, but I don't know if there's a unit for it. What I would call 30 left would be like there. 50 left is all the way left, 50 right's all the way right. So 25, 30 is like in the middle, kind of like 45-degree angles, essentially. Actually don't know what you call the units. You just call it 30 left. That's where it sounds like the viola is.
Maybe I can't make it on my own. Search for
Maybe 20 to 25.
search for love. It's all too much, yet not enough. Where's the end of all of this unknown?
So it's all staying right. This second verse is all staying right in the same spot melodically and therefore vocally for Mortius. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It's like all those notes right there. A, B, C sharp. Pretty much over and over again. And so we're getting very similar colors and levels of intensity throughout that whole second verse. It's really staying right in that pocket, that major third pocket.
Search for passion, search for love.
So what he's having to do, which we just heard on Passion, is he's having to keep it interesting, and engaging, doing more things with vocal colors on certain words, you know, just trying to make it sound like it's like the words are connected to the feelings that the words are talking about. It's not always the case. As when you write a song, you don't always want to have that, but especially in a moment like this where the melody is staying exactly the same, you definitely want to have accents like that.
Search for passion, search for love. It's all too much, yet not enough. Where's the end of all of this unknown? Find a person that you trusted, but they showed their colors true. You think that you can fight it, but their memories follow you. Why are my dreams?
So we're getting a lot of building happen here. It starts with pretty subdued. You can tell it's like the hard rock rhythm guitar, but it's pretty subdued. And then there's one vocal, and then the vocal we get multi-track vocal, and everything builds and builds and builds, and it brings us to this chorus moment really nicely. See, very muted, very multi-track vocals. Feeling the build.
Why are my dreams dictated by my demons? How can the past keep me presently awake? Since we were kids, we were supposed to be a team, but now I'm up at 3 a.m. just to keep you from my dreamscape. And why do we love me?
Yeah, okay. Again, that's up to that high A. It's so funny. The range between Mortius and Jay is so similar. Jay, going throughout the series, has learned how to stretch higher as far as my listening. I'm through Vengeance now. And there are things he can do with his voice now that I don't believe he could have done at the start of the recording process. So that's really interesting. And we'll see if maybe Mortius, as he continues to write and perform, goes through the same process, because right now it sounds like that A is really him stretching that chest voice all the way up, and I'm glad he did it. We needed a high A in that moment.
And why do we let these paths go still? Our future too. The life ahead must be brighter than the past I've lived.
On the word flee, we get this flee, a nice, really light falsetto mechanism, kind of like fleeing away a little bit. A little text painting. Flee. That big shadow vowel. When you add a vowel in between two consonants like that, like flee. Sometimes an opera will do this to make it very clear. Flee. So you put an in between them, called a shadow vowel. You can do it on the end of words as well to really accentuate the end of the word and make sure people know the final consonant. Shadow vowel.
It doesn't hurt less, but it hurts less often. Finding new dreams worth getting lost in. Not yet a garden, but the seeds are sown. Mourn the you he took away. Celebrate who's here today to make a world a little less alone. Life is never the same, but that doesn't make it wrong. One day.
Yeah, I really like these lyrics. To
make a world.
Celebrate who's here today. Wait. Mourn the you he took away.
Celebrate who's here today.
Yes.
To make a world a little less alone.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Life is never the same, but that doesn't make it wrong.
Right at the bottom of Mortius's range here.
The same.
Life is supposed to be.
Life is never.
Life is never life. I think it's supposed to be a low A. Life is never, never. But it's pretty much all air down there in Mortius's voice.
Less alone. Life is never the same.
Life is never the same. Yeah, life is never the same. Mortius, just a high tenor, true and true baby. That's why that high A belt sounded so rock on.
But that doesn't make it wrong. One day at a time, all we do is plug along. Till the day that we sit
There's
down.
that shaker and guitar mute leading us into the next section again.
Till the day that we sit down and turn it to a song. And now I'm gonna scream it till the whole world sings along. 'Cause now my dreams aren't muddled by that demon. Despite the past, I am glad
Yeah.
to be awake.
Oh, I love going into the final chorus when it comes out. I know this is Mortius's favorite thing in music, and it's for sure one of mine too. You get a big build going into the final chorus, and then you expect a huge hit on the downbeat, and then there's no drums, there's no nothing. Sometimes there's literally nothing, but in this case, there's vocals, and then everything comes back in. This is a technique that most often is used in the heavy electronic scene where you build. The whole crowd expects this huge drum bass wall, and then there's nothing, and then it hits you like a beat later or a couple beats or a measure later, and everyone goes crazy. And now JP, coming from that world, really understands that finally, that balance between building something up and faking someone out on a drop and then hitting it with them, almost like they're off balance. Like they go for it, then they're off balance, then they get hit by this next wave, and it like 10x is the experience. So really, really fantastic job of that right here.
The whole world sings along. 'Cause now my
Just kidding.
muddled by that demon. Despite the past, I am glad to be awake.
High B, Mortius. There it is. Okay, so he has stretched beyond what I knew was possible for him. High B, chest voice.
Muddled by that demon. Despite the past, I am glad to be awake. My inner kid gets to see into me beam, and when I take a look around, I am building my own dreamscape.
Bravo. Bravo, Mortius. Bravo, JP. Bravo, Tegan. This is really awesome. I'm very, very proud of you. Exceeded all my expectations. I think hiring JP is the greatest decision you could have ever made. And I'm speaking directly to Mortius and anyone else who wants to produce an EP. Spend the money, because the difference between the quality of this product and if Mortius had tried to do it all on his own, unless Mortius has become a master mix engineer over the last year that I'm completely unaware of, this is what you want. And also having someone like JP and someone like Tegan, who are just very experienced songwriters and creators and producers, really, really smart move. So just really wonderful songwriting on Mortius's part. Like, the emotions are so real, the storytelling is so real, the experiences he's had are so real. And then taking that and then collaborating with a team that knows how to turn it into a professional sounding thing as opposed to just an idea makes all the difference in the world. All the difference. So part of making something happen is having the ideas and being able to do it, and then the other part, the bigger part, is actually doing the thing. And so Mortius did the thing with this. He went for it. My hat is off. Really, really awesome. If you guys enjoy this analysis, please do consider supporting me on Patreon. It's the best place to do it. Links are below. And I look forward to see what Mortius does next. Guys, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.